So I saw the video of Vince McMahon once again sporting his Gomez Adams mustache. I don't know what this guy is doing, but I can't talk. But he came out to let us know that WWE was sold to Endeavor and will be merging with UFC to create a $21 billion powerhouse when it came to live sports and entertainment. Now, a couple of you guys have asked me, hey, what do you think about this whole thing? Well, I'll let you know after you do the usual. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button and the bell next to it to get an update every time I upload a video. Okay, so with this thing, the first thing that came to mind when I saw this is that's why Roman Reigns won last night. That's why Bianca Belair won last night. That's exactly what it is. I know, I really believe Cody's gonna win at SummerSlam, but I believe that is the reason why, because WWE believes that Roman Reigns is the big marketable face for WWE. And I don't think we can disagree with that. I know most people will say, well, Cody could have, well, he could have. Well, Roman Reigns is already set up. They already had him doing a lot of runs up until this point. So right now, if you're making a business decision, although I don't agree with the booking decision, but for the business decision, you want to put your best foot forward, and that means to use your biggest face, your most marketable wrestler, to spearhead this business move. And the same goes for Bianca Belair in the women's division. Although I believe that Asuka should have won, but I feel like night 2 of WrestleMania was not for the wrestling fans, it was for the business move. Night 1 was for the wrestling fans. Night 2 was for the business moves, right? So with this whole entire merger and things like that, I got some pros and some cons, no pun intended, about this entire thing. And I'm gonna start off with the cons and the concerns. The first thing that comes to mind is that for me, even me as a business owner, I understand when a company buys an IP, when they buy another company, when they buy something from someone else, there are going to be some changes. And the first thing that comes to mind is the finances, is the books. How do we make more money but spend less money? Which means, and which also brings up the question, how is this going to affect the wrestlers' pockets? How is this going to affect the roster? Because we're around April. Every April after WrestleMania, of course, people get cut. That's just what happens. That happens every single year. The amount of people fluctuate from year to year, but it happens every time. Now, for a new business, if you're concerned about those things, or you're looking at it saying, hey, let me make some changes here, does that mean more wrestlers than usual will get cut for them to make more money and save more money? Also, it makes you question, how does this trickle down and affect NXT? Does NXT get affected by this change as well? If this company does decide that they don't need NXT anymore and they don't see any profitability in that, how does that happen? I'm not saying this could happen. It may sound crazy, but when it comes to business, I've seen a lot of crazy stuff happen that does not make sense to the people who invest in that business, even to the people who buy the product that comes from that business. We got to remember, Endeavor has 51% stake in WWE right now, so they can make a lot of random decisions. I know they got to run past a lot of people, but at the same time, it's possible. It's possible, right? So those are the things that I'm concerned about. But there are some things that I'm slightly excited about and that I'm very intrigued about. Like, what if with this merger between WWE and UFC, we get the first ever undisputed WWE champ and UFC champion at the same time? A person who's good at UFC and also wins the title, obviously scripted, at WWE will be some cross-promotion thing going on. That'll be the first time we'll ever see anything like that. Also, in addition to that, some WWE wrestlers like Matt Riddle, what if he decides to get back in the ring at UFC? All the people who are in WWE who did MMA or whatever, if they wanted an opportunity to go to UFC, doesn't mean it's guaranteed, but they have the best opportunity to do this now because they're all under the Endeavor umbrella. And to see Matt Riddle train and eventually get back into doing UFC, I think that would be great to see. It'd be very interesting to see. And also you have like the Holly Holmes, maybe they can come over to WWE, get written to a script to where she faces off of Ronda Rousey in WWE, just to kind of bring up this storyline. And also the writers in WWE, especially the people who are involved in writing the bloodline stuff, maybe they can help curate some of these matches over in UFC, not pick the fighters. I think UFC are good at picking the fighters, but as far as drumming up some sensation, to get people who are not into UFC involved and invested into these type of feuds that happen there. And I'm not saying they should do fully scripted stuff. I don't want to see anybody, I don't want to see Iggy jumping off the top of anything, doing a swanton bomb on top of somebody, but just in a way try to curate the promotion of what's happening. And they can share, promotional companies and things like that, whatever UFC uses as far as promoting them. I know Tap Out was a thing that WWE did at one time. I haven't seen a Tap Out WWE commercial in a long time, but it'll be interesting to see these two companies kind of get involved with one another and kind of, you know, help out each other. But I don't know, you know, to what extent the crossover is going to happen. Who knows? They may not even touch each other. They may just, hey, this is WWE, we got a fight coming up this weekend, UFC, blah blah blah, go watch it. Or we watch a UFC pay-per-view, they're like, hey, well, guess what, we got SummerSlam coming up this weekend, go ahead and watch it. Who knows? Maybe it only goes as far as that. And also, in addition to that, we can do swap outs of commentators. Can you imagine Joe Rogan on WWE doing some type of announcement, or Pat McAfee going over there speaking about UFC stuff if he's invested in those type of things? I think it'll be very, very entertaining. Now, the harder part is for people who are fans of UFC and they don't like WWE because they're like, oh, it's fake, it's scripted and things like that. How would you get these people invested into WWE? That's going to be the interesting part, because people who are fans of WWE, we already know it's scripted. We already know it's not real. But all they got to do is have some of those writers help out in UFC. And wrestling fans, we love storylines beyond anything else. We love great matches, and I think UFC can supply those things, but we're more invested into storyline more than anything. They can just catch us off a storyline and that's about it. But as far as the UFC fans, they don't really care too much about storylines like that. They just want to see a good fight, but because they know it's not real, it's going to be kind of hard to get them really invested. So I wonder how that's going to happen. But at the end of the day, like I said, I haven't read a single script. I don't know what's in that packet. I don't know what they signed. I don't know what. All I know is what I see on the headlines. So I don't really have a feeling about it, because I don't know. Because all I can do is speculate, but I don't know anything. So until more information comes out, then I'll have more of emotion towards it. But we'll see. I'm very interested to see how this will come out. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching. Salute, peace, have an amazing day.